So being 7 o'clock, or actually 7:01, I'm going to open the November 12th meeting of the Wakefield Conservation Commission. Attendance: Peter.
Here.
Jimmy.
Here.
Ken.
Here.
Teresa.
Here.
I don't see Frank. I don't see Silvana. Did I miss anybody? And obviously I'm here. Our first item is the minutes approval from 10:29. That was the light.
And 10:22.
10:22. Oh yeah, both of them actually. Everybody have a chance to review those, and does anybody have any comments or corrections? And if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve both minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, Jimmy,
Aye.
Ken,
Aye.
Teresa,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
and I also approve. All right, first item on the agenda is actually a notice of intent for 11 Elmcrest Road. We don't have a file number yet, do we, Judy or Elaine?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. And who is here for 11 Elmcrest?
Hi, we're the homeowners. Lauren and
Okay.
I.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Is it you, the two of you, or is there an engineer or anybody else also, or?
So I'm the architect on the project, and then
Okay,
Screechy, who's also logged in, is the civil engineer who submitted the application.
okay, great. You want to start
Good
us
evening,
off?
Commissioners. Dennis Gricci. Hi, good evening, members of the Commission. Dennis Gricci with Andover Consultants, here on behalf of the applicant, Michael and Lauren Walborn, for the proposed project. We submitted a plan showing the proposed work, which involves the demolition of a raised second-story structure, also the removal of a deck and a concrete pad, and in its place, they're going to replace it with a two-story proposed addition, approximately the same size. It'll extend an additional 2 feet towards the backyard. There'll also be a shed roof over a approximately 30 by 18.5 foot patio. The hay bales were delineated by Norse Environmental and field surveyed by Andover Consultants. The hay bale barrier is approximately 50 feet from the wetland to the closest point, so all work will be greater than 50 feet from the wetland area. So the wetlands will be protected throughout construction. It's a relatively straightforward project. Again, the wetlands are pretty clear on the field. There's a stone wall and then a drop in elevation in the rear yard, which it's pretty evident that that's where the wetlands begin. And again, all work throughout construction will be greater than 50 feet from those flagged wetlands.
Is it possible to share your screen to show us? We can pull up the plan to show the plan of the before and after, the existing and the proposed.
Yes, I can.
And Bob will have to let you have.
it's already, it's all set to share.
Okay, great.
If you'll just bear with me while my computer is
Sure.
trying to. Okay. All right, is everyone seeing the screen up now?
We got it. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So I'll zoom in here a bit. On the left side of my screen is what's existing, which again is that it's about a 16 foot deep and about 14.5 feet wide second story addition. So that is on column. So it's actually raised up only the second story. Beneath it, it's a concrete patio seen here. There's a deck which accesses that second story and steps down. The wetlands in the rear of the site, again, were highlighted. I'm highlighting here in yellow, were flagged by Norse Environmental and field located by Andover Consultants. on the right side of the screen is what's being proposed. So again, this second story addition will be removed and it's going to be reconstructed almost in the exact same location with the 18.5 foot by 14.5 foot wide addition. This area here will just be a shed roof. And then beneath that will be a concrete patio. So this won't be an enclosed area, it'll just be a shed roof, protect you from the elements and the sun, et cetera, when you're on the patio here. And again, the hay bale barriers shown here, staked 50 feet away from the wetlands.
So is the 100-foot buffer, the 100-foot, see what said 100 feet, is that 100 feet from the edge of the wetlands?
This is the 100-foot buffer here.
Oh, right there, okay, thank you.
Yep.
Oh, it says it right there, I'm sorry, thank you.
Yep,
So
that's fine.
does the addition have a full foundation?
Yes, it will.
Is it a walkout?
It will be a walkout, yes.
What's the dashed line in front of the 100-foot line? Yeah,
This here,
yes.
that's the edge of pavement.
Okay,
The driveway comes down off Elm Crest, that's the edge of pavement.
okay.
And that's not changing?
That is not changing, correct?
And that's a stone wall in front of the wetland line?
Yeah, that's an existing boulder wall. Yeah, I have some pictures. I don't know if I can share them easily, but that is a stone wall there with the drop in elevation down to the wetland.
You know what that drop is in elevation? How many feet?
It's only 18 inches or so. It's not a steep drop off, but it's a pretty evident drop in elevation
Okay.
down to the wetlands.
Thank you.
Elaine, have you looked at this?
No, not yet. I saw that we didn't have the DEP file number in yet, so I was going to ask the property owners if I could go out there tomorrow.
Okay,
What is the contour line elevation that goes by the tree and the shed in the rear of the property? I can't quite read that number. Yeah,
This here,
yes.
that's elevation 88.
Okay, so 88, 90, 92.
Yes.
Got it.
what the heck?
And what's the increase in impervious surface?
I don't know the exact increase in impervious surface. The increase would be this. We can get that for the commission. It'd be this area in here. I'm trying to illustrate that.
Yeah. What's-
Essentially, it's that area there.
Which area?
The block, red block patio.
This area highlighted here.
It's
So is
highlighted
there-
to me on the existing. Can you see it?
That area there. I think I'm trying to.
So is it about equal between the old and the proposed as far as impervious area?
No.
It's
No,
not?
there will be an increase in impervious area in this red block here. So it's approximately
So maybe 8 by,
8 by
30.
30. Right.
Okay.
So 240 square feet approximately. We can get that number to the commission if they would like. And I do know that DEP has received the submittal. We did get the mailing certificate back. So it's been received. They just haven't processed it and issued the file number yet.
Okay.
I have the architectural plans if the commission would like to look at those, if it might help.
I'd like to look at that. That would be helpful.
If you'll through all my emails here. Let's see here. Okay. So this is the profile looking at it from the side. So this is that shed roof that we're discussing here. And then the two-story addition behind. And this is looking at it again from the two-story addition with that shed roof behind.
Is it currently a walkout now in the existing structure?
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
So there won't be really any elevation changes or grade changes due to the addition?
No, I don't believe so. No, it's going to generally match the existing grades right now. Again, it's just going to be replacing that existing second-story addition with the full two-story addition with this walkout here. This might be a better illustration. A walkout here. And then again, the canopy roof, the shed roof beneath, and the concrete patio below.
So is that technically the basement level with that walkout, or is there a grade, a level below that?
That is the architect's here, but that is the basement level.
Okay.
So I kind of ask a question. So you're keeping the basement level and then tearing down. This is not wetlands related. I'm just curious. I'm not understanding. You're building what looks like it's the first and second story, but I realize it looks like the second and third. So that's going to be right now. What does it look like? It's just the basement and the first story right now.
Right now, it's just the first story, like in that same location, there's a family room coming out on the first floor level, and there's nothing above it. So that structure couldn't hold a second floor, but we wanted to gain the space upstairs. So structurally, we had to take what's there down and rebuild fresh with
And
new.
rebuild the
second
basement
story.
too? And rebuild the basement too. Rebuild the whole thing.
Right.
Okay.
So the goal started as to gain the space on the second floor, but that existing structure couldn't handle it. We had to rebuild everything.
I got you.
Okay, I guess we should probably just get Elaine to take a look at the line, confirm that.
Did I hear the property owners were online?
Yeah, they're right here.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, can I have your permission to go in the backyard tomorrow? I'll just walk in the backyard and take a look at the line.
Sure. Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
What would the increase in the impervious area be?
240 feet approximately.
Just 240? Okay, sorry about that. I'm just I'm now finally putting together all these, putting together all the lines here.
I got about 200 square feet.
Okay.
But most of it's pretty far away from the buffer zone. I mean, from the wetlands line.
Right. Part of the
Can you
house
look-
is actually outside of the buffer.
Yeah, the front of the house is, and then even the back of the house is still, this is all between 50 and 100 feet
Right.
portion of the buffer zone. Okay.
Anybody else have any other questions or?
Will there be any
Okay.
trees, are there any contemplated any tree removal or none?
No, the addition's going just
I-
where the existing is. So there was, oh, there you go, Dennis.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the, I don't know if this will be helpful. There will be no any trees taken down as part of the work, but this is the backyard. This is that raised second story addition with the deck above. You can't really see the concrete patio beneath. This is that kind of broken stone wall, which kind of steps down a level. You can see the grade kind of drops down.
Right.
It's kind of hard to tell from the picture, but so that's what will be happening. So it'll be, again, that 2-story addition. This is coming down. The patio will be removed and expanded as well. And the deck will come down as well.
Okay.
Thank you. This picture is helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
Sorry to jump the gun there. Yeah, but that's generally what's happening.
I don't have
Go
any.
back to this now.
So should we just continue this until next meeting so we can get Elaine can go out and we can get a DEP number?
Well, there's no file number, so it has to be continued.
So the next meeting is Thanksgiving Day. So
Ah,
this would then have to be, unless there's another special meeting, continued to the second Tuesday in December.
Thursday. It's December 10th.
Is there
That's right.
any way to do it sooner?
Thursday.
Because if weather allows, they would love to apply for a permit as soon as this happens and start construction this winter. So waiting 2 weeks into December is going to be kind of detrimental considering winter's coming.
We'd need to have a meeting that Tuesday of Thanksgiving week or that Wednesday. If
We could do
that
that.
was a possibility.
Is the permit required? I mean, is our sign off required in order to get a permit?
Building permit, they usually, if they know that we have an involvement, they usually don't.
Fair enough.
Well, it's easy enough to have a meeting this way. So why don't we just schedule another meeting before Thanksgiving?
should
So
we
we can
say
do the,
maybe Tuesday would be better than Wednesday?
Yeah, Tuesday would definitely be better than Wednesday.
Well, if there's a number in next week, what about next Thursday? If it's just going to be a special hearing just to close the public hearing and take a vote. If the number is in, that's all you're waiting for. Elaine's going to go out tomorrow.
Will the number be in by next week? That we don't know that.
We don't, but if,
I have a call in. I do
Yeah,
have
I
a call
was
into
gonna
DEP, and I'll follow up again tomorrow as well. I'll start to
Mhm.
pester them as best I can to get a file number issued.
Is our feeling that this doesn't, that we're comfortable without having that commissioners go to the site?
well, we could go, you can go, wouldn't hurt to look at it.
No, I understand. we're not talking about doing a site visit. That's all. We're talking
Yeah.
about go and report back. And I just wanted to make sure that I can understand why that might be appropriate here because, the work is sufficiently far away from the BVW line. I just want
Yeah.
to make sure that, I guess what I'm saying is if we do something for next Thursday, that doesn't allow for, and that might be fine. And it would be certainly best for the applicant if we can get it sooner rather than later. But I didn't know if waiting until the following, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving would provide a little wiggle room if that were appropriate.
Well, Elaine's going out tomorrow. If there's any issues, she can, email us and report back.
Okay, that's fair.
But do we have enough time to legal notice?
yeah, I can
You'd
send
have
the
to do it.
legal.
You'd have to
Yeah,
do it
I mean,
tomorrow.
it's not the legal notice. It's only the agenda posting, which
Oh,
has to
right.
be 3 days ahead of time. So I can send that tomorrow. And then if the number doesn't come in, then we'll just cancel the meeting. That's not a big deal.
Okay.
I'll have it posted anyway, and then,
We could post 2 meetings and then cancel one.
right.
So if
So
the
do you wanna
first one
do-
doesn't work out, the second
Right.
one might.
Yeah, that's a
So-
good idea.
So should
Do you
we
want to do
plan
next
on
Thursday and then the
Thursday?
following Tuesday?
Tuesday, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
19th and 24th.
okay.
Well, I'll
Thank
ask you
you
the
all for
question.
doing that.
I'll ask the question is for the 5 days that it makes a difference, is there any particular benefit to people having, I mean, I mean, we're going through a lot of trouble to push this forward just 5 more days.
Well, we're going to throw a lot of trouble to press it forward. I schedule any meeting before the next meeting, Peter, though. Right? So the applicants, would you rather have it be on next Thursday than the following Tuesday? What is, and Molly, what's best for you?
We appreciate you doing a special meeting either way. I'm curious from Dennis, if you have any idea, if it's all hinging on this number, is there any idea of finding out when that number will come? No.
They, I
Not-
can't
not
say,
from
I don't
DEP.
know.
Okay.
Why don't we
No,
No,
just,
and my phone calls might not too much, but
They're liable to push it back if you call too much, huh?
And if you're open to scheduling the 2 meetings and canceling, if the letter doesn't come, the number doesn't come by the next week, you cancel it and we keep the next one. But if that's too much of a pain, then you can
I
decide.
think we
Yeah.
can do
well, you
that.
know, this time of year, it's, every day really makes a difference, so I can understand the problem that you're gonna have. The sooner we can get it approved, the better it will be. So I'm not opposed to it. I would be willing to do whatever day you want. And if you want to set up the 2 days, then that sounds like a real good way to go too.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So let's do that.
If you can just email me as soon as you get the number, if you get the number directly from DEP. I mean, I'll check the website for the listings, but sometimes they'll let the applicant know ahead of time. If you can just send me an email, then I can,
I will.
great, thank you.
Okay, so the first meeting would be the 19th?
Yes,
Which should be next Thursday, correct?
Yeah,
yes,
so it's the 19th and the 25th.
The 24th, not the 24th.
24th.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, so that's it.
That's it for that.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thanks.
Have a nice evening.
Night.
Appreciate it.
Is there any
Is
old
that-
business or new business, Judy or Elaine?
Good that your dog is with us, Peter.
Is that the dog?
Hi.
No, Jim, it's Peter.
This wasn't, apparently this is not exciting enough for her. She needs a little more.
Oh, I think you need to get her up closer to the camera so she can see what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, she's pretty,
Oh, God. Oh, that's funny. Okay, what's next?
Yeah, any old or new business?
I don't have anything.
Wow.
Mhm.
Judy?
I got a lot of good feedback on the light pollution seminar, and I talked to
Good.
Jimmy about having more, every couple of months have one. So Jimmy wants to have one on local wildlife, how to live with them, why it's important to stay away from them, why it's important for them to have an open area, things like that. So I think that would be helpful.
And it's so easy to do with Zoom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Listen,
I'm gonna, sorry.
No, it's all right. I was talking over you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. So I'm gonna try to line up a speaker who can give a good overview on that. And I also talked to environmental sustainability about land trusts. So that's gonna be another seminar in the next couple of months. I'm gonna see if someone from the Andover Village Improvement Society will come and talk about it. They came out, I don't know, probably 15 years ago. And it's really interesting, the amount of land that they have up there. It's the second oldest land trust in the country.
Really?
So I think that would be a good,
Yeah.
I mean, and I talked to Rebecca and she's interested in maybe coming up with some seminars. There was a notice on the town website about the Wakefield Cultural Council. they have grant money available that's dispersed from the state. So Wakefield's allocation this year was $8,700. And they fund projects that are based on community-oriented towards arts, humanities, and sciences. So I talked to environmental sustainability about the spiral wetland for Lake Quannapowitt. I had sent that around a while ago. It's like a mat and you put different plants in it and you can have any kind of design that you want. And it uptakes pollutants, but it's
What's it
also a
called?
visual
What kind of wetland? What was the adjective?
spiral wetland.
A spiral.
Yes.
I thought you said viral.
No. But I had also talked to the Albion Arts Council director, because other states have like art contests based on the designs. So it's something that could combine, science and a public, public interest kind of thing, get people aware that the lake needs to be taken care of. And I mean, it would be a quick visual as you're going by the lake. And if
Mhm.
there's grant money for it, then it would be even better. So there are a couple of things I talked to environmental sustainability, a couple of projects that they may want to look at. The deadline for this year is, I think, December 14th, so it's a little late, but something to look at for next year. And something that I think conservation could get involved with as well.
What's a spiral wetland?
It's like a grid. It looks like a black mat grid, and you take plantings and you can put it in any kind of configuration. So this was like a swirl across a large lake in Michigan. An artist took these pictures and then it turned into a school art project. But it also provides pollutant uptake in the water body, but it's a visual art project.
Yeah.
So is this a floating wetland?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Elaine knows all about them.
I do. We keep trying to get them going. I think we should continue to keep trying. Oh, I'm looking at it online. It's beautiful. It's a work of art.
is.
If you could do this as a work of art, you might be able to go forward with it better than
Yeah.
trying to make it an environmental project.
Well, that's
True.
why I talked to the Albion Cultural, whatever
Yep,
it is,
it's a great
Albion Arts
idea.
Director, doing it as an art installation.
Yep, excellent idea.
Wow.
And that's why I thought the Cultural Council money, could be a tie-in that way.
Yeah.
So conservation can kind of sneak in the back.
It's a great idea.
I know. I think it would be good. I think it'd be something good to look at for the future.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a picture of one online right now. It is kind of neat looking, but it would, like, do you put it near the shore, or this thing is right in the middle of a lake that
I
I'm
was
looking
gonna say,
at?
it would obstruct you, I mean, in the middle of a lake.
Yeah, I can see
It's not-
boats.
But it's not that big and it can be moved around.
Okay, yeah, this one's
And you
pretty
can have-
massive that I'm looking at.
Can
Yeah,
you share that picture, Bob?
some of them are huge.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that.
Because I can't see what's going on, and I'm not going to try to figure out how to do it.
It's hard on your phone.
All right, let's see.
Oh, Elaine.
Yeah.
Have you talked any more to the guy on Montrose Ave?
Oh, yes, the hay bales are up.
Yeah.
He's got the property surveyed, and he said he lost the letter from the insurance company, but he has contacted the insurance company to get a copy of it. And I have a site visit scheduled there for tomorrow. So as soon as he gets the plan, which he says he has been able to put together today, he'll be filing a notice of intent.
Can you see this picture?
Yes.
Great.
It's pretty big. 300 linear feet long, 75 feet wide, 4 feet tall.
You can make it any size you want. and you can
Yeah.
make it-
And that's once it's fully grown. And you
What do
can
you
tow it around.
Yeah.
You can,
And what do you plant in there? What are the kinds of plants that you put in?
whatever vegetation would probably be native to that water body.
Okay.
I
So
think,
wouldn't you-
you'd want something kind of tall to make it noticeable. has to be a certain height or you won't get the visual effect of it.
Right.
Well,
I
on
was
the other
think-
hand, though, if you look at the picture, if there's more height, then you can't see the interior swirls.
Right, but as you're walking, the only place where you can really see the lake is from an elevated spot is walking Main Street. So that would be the perfect spot. It's high, you're up high enough that it wouldn't need to be too tall. And you'd
Yeah.
be
Is
able to
this-
see the whole thing.
Is this floating on the surface?
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
a mat.
Yeah.
It's on a floating mat.
So how do they get it to grow 4 feet tall and stand up?
It's in a little pocket. It's like a little peat pot.
Jim, if you Google it, you see you can see what the grid looks like.
Okay.
Just put.
And they have a video of the process of constructing it as well.
Yeah,
It's a
And this-
fabric with holes in it that you can put your pots in
Yes.
that grows from the pot, and they're
Here you go. Yeah, check out.
water loving plants. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
there you go.
So Elaine, was this one of the proposals for the cleaning the lake and part of the?
Yes, it was. It was, but it was discarded in favor of a more stormwater management approach, because that's where the money from the state is now.
No, I'm on the committee too. I think we haven't met for 6 months, but
But this would be the
I'm
perfect,
wondering
I
about-
mean, this could be the beauty of it. It's not very expensive and it could be something that conservation could underwrite.
Hmm.
It wouldn't have to be
Mhm.
tied in with the Clean Lake Committee.
yeah, and it would attract attention. Some mostly positive.
Exactly.
Just would be.
well, let me know. I can do research on it and get papers or anything to help out, to look into it if you want.
This website of this photographer, Stacy Levy, has a lot of excellent ideas for similar type things.
So
There's
is
one
there some
that's-
plants that take up phosphorus better than others?
I think so.
Does anyone-
Yes,
Probably, yeah.
I've got a book called Phyto, which is the latest in using plants for pollutant uptake. And it very specifically states which plants are good for taking up which nutrients.
Okay.
So one of the things we would want to take a look at, among others, is which plants have the most uptake for the kind of pollutants you want to remove.
Right, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did a bunch of research on this for the lake committee on my own. I do have some resources on it. I think I could find them.
Okay.
It doesn't need to have any color. I mean, there doesn't seem the pictures on the website. It just is all kind of a uniform green and not not multicolored.
What's wrong with green, Peter?
Pardon me? No,
What's wrong with green?
no, I'm not saying. I'm just pointing out that to me that it's that you can't. Maybe it's just not. Maybe you can't get plants that have different colors and make it a little more.
I mean, there may be flowering plants available. You do have flowering wetlands plants.
I think the shape is what's interesting as well.
Yeah. How long does it last? Does it last the whole season? I wonder.
You take it out before winter.
What's the process to get something approved to be on the lake permanently or semi-permanently?
Good thought, Ken.
Yeah,
Is that a battle?
You might need a Chapter 91 permit, but that wouldn't be any more than putting in a dock, I would think, and might go through smoothly because of the benefits you get from it.
Who would issue that permit?
The state issues the Chapter 91s.
Okay.
would the,
91,
would the-
how does 91 apply to a, I thought Chapter 91 only applied to the coast.
No, inland,
waters of the-
navigable waterways and
Waterways.
great ponds.
yeah,
Would there be any local approvals that would be required?
I think you'd need a Conservation Commission permit.
Wait, that's us.
Yep.
No, but okay. So in other words, we would not need the approval of town council or anyone else.
No, just a straight permit like we were permitting a dock, like many other of the things we've done on the lake before.
Okay.
One of the things you want to be aware of, though, is when you take it in the fall, you have to be careful what you do with the plants because they're loaded with all of the pollutants you want to take up. So you have to be very sure you get rid of them in a good manner. So you don't want to leave them on the shore where they can flow right back into the pond again.
Yeah.
Right, well, be careful with pollutants. If it's phosphorus, not pollutant that's hazardous to human health. So,
Probably phosphorus and nitrogen, but you don't want that going back in again.
right. But be careful calling it pollutants to anybody else. It
Yeah,
sounds like-
I understand. I will be careful with my words.
But if you took it to like the pit, could you do that?
I would think that would be the place for it.
Interesting.
Well, I think that's worth looking into.
It's art. It's not just
It is.
uptake, it's art. That's the way they're describing it.
It's science in the guise of art.
It was a Smithsonian installation that started the whole thing, the spiral jetty. And then this person started.
I say we give it a try. See how well received it is.
I think we should gather some more information. I don't know if they're putting it in shallow water or areas that don't get much disturbance from the rest of the waves and stuff in our lake. Something like
That's
that.
a good point, Jim, that the lake it can churn up pretty well. That's an interesting point.
Right, like what depth is this most effective in?
Yeah. Because I noticed that they're all standing in the water, putting plants in there.
Yeah. Well, except for this picture, they're in kayaks.
Right, but then they pull it out.
Right.
If you watch the video,
Right,
yeah.
Well, based on what I can see, plants don't seem to have a lot of trouble thriving in our lake.
No.
Well,
No,
and we have
you
plenty of
can't-
nutrients in ours.
Yeah.
There must be a way to anchor it down. Otherwise, this thing's going to get blown over.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is anchored down. Yes.
Yeah, they show anchors.
I think we should really look into it. I think it's a good idea. How's everyone else feel?
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah, I
really
agree.
worth
I
investing.
like it.
Is the video? Oh, here's the video.
Yep.
Any idea how long this video is, Judy?
I don't think it was too long. I mean,
I
you
mean,
click on it, it'll tell you how
I
long.
You're a busy guy, huh, Bob?
Well, I could play it, but I don't know what type of bandwidth
Oh, okay.
this thing's gonna take,
7 minutes, 17 seconds.
Wait,
117
spiral wetland?
seconds?
I'll check. Hang on. I can check on that. I think.
I'm not dealing with the lightning speed internet I have in Wakefield.
If you look at the bottom of the screen, the third picture in from the left, that's the straw wattles. And they plant native plants in it and do it as an art exhibit. And then at the end of the season during the harvest, they cut them all off and plant them on town lands or donate them
Huh.
to people that want the plants. So it heightens the awareness of the need for native plantings and how they look before people grow them in their yard. So that was something I talked to environmental sustainability about, maybe having a small area like that by the farmer's market
Yeah.
because there's so much foot traffic. And then
Yeah.
when the last day of the farmer's market could be when they'd have a plant giveaway.
In
Yeah.
the spiral wetland that video is 7 minutes and 17 seconds.
Okay.
That's what Ken said a few minutes ago.
Oh, I thought someone said, how long is it? Okay. Well, yeah, we should. I'm going to watch it after this.
Do we have any local contacts for like botanists that can help out with plant selection, or I don't know if Elaine can do that. I'm not sure. Is there anyone?
Well, let me look in this book I have.
Okay.
And, there's a copyrighted art form I have a question. If this is a
No,
art
it isn't.
installation, then you have other issues with copyright, just so maybe we ought to check on that.
We'll call it a zigzag instead of a spiral.
That's right.
That dog.
So Ken and I also talked about the rail trail and heightening awareness for the Wakefield side. Because Linfield has a very activist group and a couple of websites, and they're always out front talking about it. But the portion that's going to go through Reedy Meadow isn't given a lot of consideration. It's more about the effect to the abutters in Linfield. So I think it would be important to have at least some awareness of, the rail trail could be coming. I mean, it may not come for another 15 years, who knows?
Mm.
Or it could come in a year if they push it. So I think having some messaging on the commission website about
Has anyone
Reedy
done,
Meadow.
has anyone done a study on the effects of this going through Reedy Meadow
No,
on wildlife?
I think they're in the process of it. They had natural heritage out there on the site visit that you attended.
Yeah.
So I think they're
Judy,
looking
is
at it, but
that-
Wakefield isn't involved.
Yeah, is that 75% design available, publicly available? Is anyone be able to get their hands on that to look at it?
It should be. I can ask Linfield, ask their conservation department, because they'd have it.
So what are the groups in Linfield? Are they groups that are advocating to have the rail trail built and they're
Yes.
trying to deal with
Yes.
Both ends.
and we don't, and it's one of the groups that, and is the Conservation Commission one of the spearheads, or are they
No.
or not?
No, it's all private citizens that are driving it.
Okay. Should we consider, Jim, should our concern be, I think, don't we have considerations running in both directions? Isn't passive recreation, that's a pretty big deal, I think. Wouldn't it be like the opportunity for people to sort of, if it doesn't degrade the wetland, this would be an opportunity for people to actually see and appreciate, one of our resources here in town. I gotta say,
on the flip side-
when I've ridden on other rail trails, it's actually really beautiful when you go through these areas. It's really,
How wide are the ones that you've been on, Peter? How wide are the ones that you've been on? Just so I'm not familiar with how wide these things are.
I would say maybe, you can have people running, maybe two people walking in one direction and two people walking in another, and they don't have to go single file. So maybe like 8 feet. Maybe.
I see.
They vary in width depending
They
on.
do,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, but when you see the ones that are paved and that, that bicycle riders can ride on, they've got to be like there's got to be, I'm thinking it's got to be like I was like 8 or 10 feet wide. Yeah.
How wide is a rail bed? Train
It's
track.
wider than that.
I think they mentioned part of it was going to be 12 feet. So I don't know if that was the part that was going to run through Reedy Meadow.
One of the sites has cross sections of it. I can try to look it up.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is I just didn't know whether it's just something we ought to be talking about, whether as a group we would see that as something that would be a benefit from a conservation standpoint, or whether, because obviously you have to worry about degrading the wetland, and that's consideration running in the opposite direction, and I'm wondering whether that's something we ought to be talking about, is whether we balance those two competing considerations and which way we kind of come out.
And it's going to bisect that area. That's the problem. The rail bed is all overgrown. So it's kind of turned into a natural area. So it's more intrusive, especially in that area, than it would be in other just naturalized areas. Because it has such a different designation.
Isn't the rail bed underwater? And so wouldn't some of that have to be raised? And wouldn't that provide?
Yeah, they're talking about a raised boardwalk.
That's
It's
right.
already
So
raised on
underneath it-
the rails.
so I
are
guess
already
my point
raised.
is that wildlife will be able to walk underneath it. And I
Right,
guess,
but
again, my limited experience is that these things, it looks like there's plenty of opportunities for wildlife to get from one side of the trail to the other without actually going on the trail, without.
right, but that's, the problem comes in when the habitat is changed and some of them, the habitants leave, regardless of whether there's an area for them to migrate under the bridge.
Mhm.
The introduction of humans change, and that's going to change the birds that are there, the animals that are there.
Yep, that's right. I guess what I'm saying is I understand that there's considerations running in both directions here. And that's what makes this hard. I mean,
Mhm.
So
Well,
a rail
I
bed,
think-
a rail bed is a minimum of 8 feet. The distance between the rails is 4'8" to 4'9.5", but the bed itself is 8
Mhm.
at a minimum.
I don't know, right.
I
I think,
think,
I think one of the points Judy's trying to make is that it's not really public too much in Wakefield. It's not out there too much. I don't know if we have our own websites. I don't know if we have our own team of people who are really
Mhm.
passionate about it or putting it out there. Linfield's very vocal about it. It's a big deal over there. It has been. And it doesn't seem like it has been here. So it'd be good, one way or the other, just to get the word out and for everyone to look at it a little closer. Is that
Yeah.
right, Judy? Is that where you're getting at?
Yes, I think especially Reedy Meadow, that needs to be the focus because people are interested in the rail trail and I understand that, but I think the fact that it would go through Reedy Meadow the way it will hasn't been examined closely enough. It doesn't matter if there's going to be a raised boardwalk, that might be fine, but the construction would change things. It's not as simple as let's just put in a raised boardwalk, which is, I
Absolutely it
think,
is.
how the general
Ridiculous.
public views it. Well, we'll just put in a raised boardwalk. It's not that simplified. And it does change what's out there. And it's going to change the whole nature of that untouched area. And is that a trade-off that should be made? I don't think it is, but I think people may be willing to accept that. Maybe there's a way for it to go further out around. I don't know. And I don't think that's even considered. And it probably should be. What is going to be the impact on the environment there, on the endangered species that are there? Things like that. I mean, that area is already so broken up. It bisected by Edgewater years ago. I mean, the area is just so changed, and this is one spot that's relatively untouched.
right.
And it really could be detrimental, I think. Especially once it's a rail trail and there are more people in there. They have more studies on just human intervention, not even disturbing any habitat, anything, just people walking through that area changes the animals that are around there, the birds that are around there.
Yeah.
They
Let
avoid
alone-
it when there are humans there.
Just the rubbish alone, someone would have to be out there with barrels or something. I mean, I think it could be a disaster for the
I do too.
environment in that
Yeah.
area.
Jim, I would tell you to go and, ride a bike on some rail trails because that's
Right, but
not
if you-
all what I've seen when I've been on them. I mean,
But if you're looking at like the Peabody Rail Trail, that's more of a one level, it didn't go through a wetland. That's a different, if you go through other trails like the Essex County Green Belt, they have a huge problem with off-leash dogs, which that changes animal patterns. It causes birds to leave and not come back. I mean, there are consequences to things like this that people don't consider. It's looked at as it's great for passive recreation, which it is. And I don't think it would be a bad thing for Wakefield, but I think there needs to be a serious consideration on the environmental impact that we're not going to come back from. Once it's changed, it's changed. You can't recreate it. And you can't force the birds to come back. And that's a problem.
Mhm. Well, there was a lot of people out there at that meeting, so maybe we can see if any reports are generated out of that. There was
Yeah,
Mass
I'll-
Wildlife was there and
Right.
Audubon was there, so they must have to follow up with some kind of a report.
Right,
Maybe-
right.
What did you say with there, Jim, with besides wildlife? Who did you say?
Mass Wildlife was there in Audubon.
Audubon, okay.
Mhm.
And DOT.
Yeah,
And the Linfield
Mass
Conservation,
Mass
the
Highway was there
Linfield
too.
Conservation Agent was, but the Wakefield Conservation wasn't invited.
Well,
The town engineer was there, Bill Renault, but conservation, this is what I'm saying, it's being left out of consideration. Regardless of what phase they're at, the review is going to be focused on Reedy Meadow because of the nature of it. Everything else can be constructed over, I mean, most of it is paved road in Wakefield where the rail bed is.
where does the trail go from Linfield? Where will it end on its other side? It would go from Wakefield into Linfield, and then how far would it go?
They're looking to extend it beyond that, but I think right now it's going to be Wakefield to Linfield. And I think maybe eventually connecting it to Peabody.
Okay.
Well, I think let's get some more information, see what's going on.
At the
I
very
think the
can
most,
the
I
town,
think that-
I'm sorry, Jimmy, go ahead.
I look at that area, I say that the best thing that could ever happen to that is leave it alone. It's just a beautiful area, and I don't know how, I would have to be very sure about what the impacts are before if anything was ever brought before us, I want to make sure it wasn't going to have an impact on the wildlife. I think that's probably the most important thing out there.
So wouldn't studies be needed in order to pass the Linfield conscom?
Yeah, you would think so, right? I would think so. I would think there should be somebody, well, where everyone was.
Well,
out there-
Audubon was there. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess the reason I was asking my question was because I didn't know if Linfield's thought was we'd be perfectly happy if the trail just stayed within Linfield, and if Wakefield comes on, all the better, or whether they felt it only kind of makes sense if there's, a critical mass of distance,
No,
where-
it's funded for Wakefield and Linfield.
yeah, it's about
Okay.
half.
It's not
right?
just Linfield.
Do
And I guess
these-
my point would be that
Oh, half
that
distance.
one thing that if Linfield is so in favor of it, it's not going to help to, it's not going to clinch overall approval as easily if they leave Wakefield out.
It's 2.5 miles in Linfield, 1.9 in Wakefield.
Right.
Peter,
And
there
how
was a
much of
lot
that
of-
1.9 would be through
opposition.
Reedy Meadow? How much of the 1.9 would be through Reedy Meadow? I'm just curious.
Well, 1.9 is Wakefield.
I know, but
Clarify.
of Wakefield, it goes, from Lowell Street, then is it going to go all the way down, like to Salem Street and all the way down, like to the junction?
Well, it starts at the Galvin Junior High School.
Right. It start the Galvin, and then like going all the way up to like where Metal Crafters used to be. That's got to be,
Yeah.
that's not Reedy Meadow, that part. And all I'm saying is that I was just curious how much of it would actually be going through the Reedy Meadow area.
I can send you a link to the website. There's a map on it that shows.
Can you do that? Can you send the link to all of us?
Yeah, it's interesting to me. This is just.
Peter, they were saying when we were walking it was about 2 miles through Reedy Meadow.
That
Is
doesn't
that
make
possible?
sense, though.
Is that possible?
No,
No.
not if it's only 1.9 in Wakefield, and it's gonna be at least a mile before you get to Reedy Meadow.
No, I'm just talking a section of Reedy Meadow itself, because when we were walking it, I heard someone say it's about 2 miles. Maybe I probably misunderstood.
Well, is part of Reedy Meadow in Linfield
Yes,
where the rail trail is?
yes.
So maybe that's true.
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah,
And they should have the same considerations as we do then, because they're dealing, it's not like they don't have Reedy Meadow to deal with and we do. And
Doesn't
that's,
it have to come before the Conservation Commission?
Yes.
yes, it does.
But I'm saying if the preliminary plans, if things are already in the works, by the time it comes to
I
conservation,
understand. It's hard
then
to,
it's harder to push back.
I understand. But I don't know how we can take I think it's a delicate political situation for us to take a stand on. I mean,
I'm not saying take a stand. I'm saying there needs to be more public awareness about this portion of the rail trail so that people have an understanding of what this area consists of. And then they'll make their own decision, but they should have an understanding of what a sensitive area it is. It's not just a straightforward wetland.
I don't understand how they can't be talking to us about it. They can do all they want to approve it through Linfield, but wouldn't they
Right.
have to
Right, but
talk to us to prove it?
but I think it's kind of a marketing tool because Linfield is so vocal and they have such activist groups
Mhm,
that it's going to advocate for the trail that much more.
There you go.
Thank you.
I don't know. Do they even have a design? I mean, they were talking about all kinds of things. Putting railroad beds out there, railroad cars, and I don't know what they're,
They said they're at 75%, right, Judy?
Right, right,
That's pretty far along.
right.
Well, that's horrible where it is. Right.
And the consideration that they mentioned was not doing construction during nesting periods.
Migration
is-
period.
Right, which is fine, but that's only one segment of the life cycle.
Can you
It's
scroll
important.
up to the Reedy Meadow area, Bob? Or who's got the, so it looks like only a kind of a small portion of it kind of goes, I mean, the trail goes through Reedy Meadow.
Does it go under the highway, obviously?
it goes under the bridge. Yeah, it goes under the highway.
With the railroad.
Yeah, right behind Payon Boulevard.
Yeah. Right behind the cemetery in that area.
Yep. Yeah, here's the
that's a pretty-
cemetery right here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good distance though, when you're talking about that type of vegetation.
Yeah, there's a scale, bottom right, 200 meters.
It's the
4.4 miles.
dog sitting next to him, the dog smells.
So it could be 2 miles through, or a mile something through Reedy Meadow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a long walk, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and you have to turn around and come back too.
Yeah, right. I
Unless you have
did
somebody
that
pick you
earlier.
up at the other end.
Yeah.
See, if you look at number 3 from 2018, Friends of Linfield Rail Trail awarded a $100,000 grant. So they're driving a lot of it, the private group. And I mean, it's good for them because they're looking at it for the Linfield interests, but there needs to be a similar
Mm.
Yeah.
attention to Wakefield, I think.
Jimmy, were they talking about what they're going to, kind of what it's going to look like? Like, are they taking down existing vegetation that's already there along the rail trail? I'm just trying to figure out, are they going to clear cut the entire thing and just build a trail? And
They were gonna,
Well-
when you walk the thing, you can see the topography, as flat as it is, it's got some hills in there, so you can see the different vegetation as you go through certain parts.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But,
we've walked part of this. This is pretty indicative of what we walked.
Bob, can you show me where Turtle Island is on there? Can you just sort of focus more again on the, go back to the, is that, I can't quite. That's it. That little blip, I think, is Turtle Island, that little island, yeah. Or the one next to it. Okay. You know, I was just looking because on the Google, if you Google Reedy Meadow, there is a video showing, showing the whole, spanning this, showing the whole picture of
there's a
it.
drone. There's a drone video out there. And that
Yeah.
wide part, they're going to put some tables or chairs there, or benches or something.
Yeah, that's what I was curious. Because just an approach to Turtle Island, and I was curious what Turtle Island is. It looks like that might be that little blip in that's on the trail itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. This
You know,
is,
the other thing to consider is maintenance, because I know that I looked at that, that video in Linfield that has the drone And there's a lot of their areas that need repair.
Well, it's underwater, isn't it? I mean, I thought some of those
No, I'm
tracks were
saying-
underwater right now.
I'm saying the path, Linfield's got a whole trail down over there, and it's made out of pressure treated wood. And a lot of it is broken and, rotted and falling apart. So something else to think about, I think, is maintenance to this thing.
Do we know where the boundary line is between Wakefield and Linfield, where it goes in there? I don't even know, where that would be.
Hmm.
No, not exactly.
It's-
Let me look.
yeah.
I mean, we know the Linfield Wakefield line is right at the hotel. Right in here somewhere.
Yeah, but isn't that's,
Because this side is Linfield, this side is Wakefield.
hmm.
This is all Market Street and then a
Right.
hotel.
Yep.
Boy, it looks to me like all of that is in, is it possible that all of that is in, 100% of that rail trail was in Linfield? I'm looking at a map of Wakefield and it looks to me like the border is right at that point, right where that little neck goes out, where it says Yankee Division Highway.
Yeah.
That Yankee Division, that 128 is at that point is exactly the border of Linfield. So all of that area is Linfield. None of it is Wakefield, at least based on the map I'm looking at.
I'm looking at Google Earth and it looks like there's maybe almost 400 feet of it in Wakefield.
Wait, are you talking about that neck where it goes,
Here.
so go to that little circle right at above the D in division, where it says Yankee Division, right there. I'm just looking at this map that's in front of me. It looks like that might be in, that potentially, that is in Wakefield. But that is about it. And then
Hmm.
that piece that, with a little circular to the right of that, above the N in Yankee Division Highway, that is Wakefield as well. That the piece that's sort of, right above where it says Yankee Division Highway, that little peninsula is Wakefield.
This one.
Yes, that's Wakefield as well. But everything else, it looks like everything else.
Bob, do you have Google Earth on that machine?
Yeah. No, I don't. Not in this one.
I mean, I could have a bum map.
I could use Google Maps. So let me just see what that looks like.
And maybe I don't know if that's why they're not talking to us about it, because it's not really, very little of this is in Wakefield.
Saugus River.
No, we don't have a town lines on this map.
Right.
Isn't the Saugus River the border?
Try to zoom in a little bit, see if it pop up on you. Or if you want, you could share it with me.
Yeah, go ahead.
You save it?
No, don't see it yet, Ken. Oh, here it comes.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah, there's
So
the,
this is the trail right here. This is
yep.
95. This is that round area that's shown as water on the map you were looking at.
Yeah.
That is this. Here are the power lines. Here's obviously, here's the islands.
So all of that is Linfield. And the
So
only part
I'm
that's
assuming this
Wakefield-
is the town line right here.
Right. So the only part of it is if that this little piece between the highway and that town line, that tiny little
Yeah,
piece.
I don't know if this is also wet here as well, this section.
It is.
This, and then I could show you what the distance is.
Yeah, but I guess my point is the point about Reedy Meadow, the sensitive part that Judy was talking about, virtually all of that is Linfield. Yeah, that's Wakefield, right. And then scroll out so you can see how much of it's Linfield. And then everything else is Linfield.
Right, that's fine, but don't
Okay.
you think we should protect the resource on our side?
Right, and I mean, we'd be in a butter to this, so they would have, we'd have a say in it.
Okay.
And we're not saying we're against it.
No. I'm just
Exactly.
all,
We have to look
all I'm
into it.
saying is that principally the most environmentally sensitive areas are on this. The vast majority of them are in Linfield and not in Wakefield. So and all I'm trying to do is have a reason why. I'm trying to understand why they would, if it was mostly us and not mostly Wakefield and not Linfield, why they wouldn't have a discussion with us. Or if it was 50.
Well, it's not just the meadow, it's any of it, to be honest with you. I know we're
Right.
in a conscom meeting, but it's none of it, It's been
Well,
discussed with our town too much.
it may be a small section in Wakefield, but they still have to connect up.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and how will that impact Wakefield? If it's through Reedy Meadow like that, it's going to impact the Wakefield side. So it will change, I mean, it's just not something that's considered in Wakefield. And
Right,
that's,
they're not gonna stop construction right at that line and then have nothing.
right,
Ferry boats
Yeah.
across.
right.
Right. I understand that we could block it if we wanted.
No, I'm not talking about blocking it. I'm just talking about making people aware that once this changes in there, it's going to change forever. So what are you comfortable living with? Disturbing this untouched area?
Yeah.
that contains
Well-
endangered species?
Yeah, it's disturbed in the sense there is a railroad bed already there. And what's different is that there's just going to be more human activity. And I understand that.
Right, but is it going to be reviewed appropriately for that to be okay or not?
Mm.
Yeah.
Are there culverts going under the bed anywhere throughout Reedy Meadow?
I don't know.
That's a good question. I can go back to that video. It's hard to see.
Are there culverts where?
Under the rail bed anywhere, or does this rail just completely divide Reedy Meadow?
There are
Oh.
culverts, but they're often blocked.
Okay,
Plus the water is over it in spots anyways.
okay.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when you walk through the tunnel underneath the highway, it's all, about probably 6 or 8 inches of water. It's right up on the rails.
Wow.
Mhm. No, this is a hard one.
I mean, there's a hydraulic connection between the two sides, no matter how you look at it.
Yep.
I love that dog.
Teresa,
Maybe
where's
the dog
Let me get
sleep
some-
at night.
why is only my animal participating in this?
I'm a cat, my cat walked by, but he doesn't make any noise like that,
I know,
so.
but I've seen your cat walk across your screen
Right.
before.
My kids are screaming in the background if that.
Do they sound like a dog or a cat?
Both. That's how they fight, cats and dogs.
Well, this is interesting, and all the only point that I was making is that the environmental damage, I guess, has there's a I think a not insignificant passive recreation benefit that, so you do have things running in both directions here. That was my only point.
My point, I think, is that the environmental damage that could happen there is things that you're not really going to see. I mean, it's just things that happen to the fauna, and just seeing what happens with the animals and how they change their patterns. And I know those are issues that someone needs to look at. I know someone was talking about the birds that you change those, there's certain areas that they want, and if you disturb them, they don't come back. I'm not familiar with all that kind of stuff, but I mean, I think that's a place that someone needs to look at.
Well, I think that's why Audubon was out there. They designated it as an important birding area because of the diversity of species that are out there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the largest emergent wetland marsh in Massachusetts. So it attracts, a tremendous amount of overwintering, and it's a migratory stop off. So it's got a huge benefit that I think is going to be discarded because it's already been, when I talked to the Linfield agent about it, her take was that birds are going to find another tree. Like it wasn't a big, and I think that just seems to be the feeling I get, that, there are other trees out there, and that's not the way nature works. It's not that simple. And with the rate of development in Wakefield, and especially around here with Market Street, and I mean, Edgewater has been there for 20 something years, but there's just so much more development surrounding this area that has probably changed it somewhat. And this could be like almost like the nail in the coffin.
Well, the water level's, certainly higher, I'm sure, like Jimmy said, than it was ever before.
Right.
Pushing more water. Payon Boulevard is right next to it.
Exactly. And what has been discussed about the impact on that neighborhood?
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be mitigated, but it's a discussion that needs to happen before, rather than once the funding is there and it's, beyond the 75% and it's speeding along, then there'll be more of a cursory review. And that's what I'm afraid of.
Or there would be a lot of pressure on us,
Exactly.
It's a runaway train, right?
Exactly.
What has Linfield investigated as far as habitat and stuff like that? Have they done anything? Do they have any?
They have a lot of comparative data of other rail trails, but I mean, it doesn't seem like there's been any really in-depth. It seems to be more.
Nothing with these kind of problems, evidently.
No, because it's being, it is passive recreation, and it was a rail bed before. But when was the last time the trains ran on that? So I think that's how it's staged. It was disturbed before, so this isn't going to be, anything new to it.
Well,
but it's been an abandoned rail bed for a while, so everything has changed.
yeah.
It's not like it's been 5 years, so it wouldn't be a great change. And everything in that area has changed with Market Street.
Right.
It's not just this, it's the whole area that's changed. And with development on the horizon at Lake Quannapowitt, this is going to add to it. Add to the area that the birds don't have.
Yeah.
Because all these spots are all stop-off areas for the birds.
Yeah.
And once there aren't enough birds, then it's going to be an influx of mosquitoes and every other pest bug. And then people are going to go crazy about that and start spraying everything. It's a vicious cycle.
Well.
But that's why I think there should be some more awareness so people can make an informed decision.
But Judy, what I'm trying to understand is, how do you think we could help make awareness? That's what I'm trying to understand, Judy.
I think on the website, it could be, this is what's
Oh,
proposed.
on the
This is
Conservation
what,
Commission website, we can have
Yes.
featured.
yes. And it could be, this is the history of Reedy Meadow. This is the designations of it.
Well, who's in charge of revising our website?
We can ask them to put whatever we want on it. Now that we have a communications manager, Jen McDonald, she manages the website.
So
So like,
why don't we do that? Why don't
we
we?
can.
I'm sorry, is that what you've been suggesting all along? I'm sorry.
Yes.
But I've been trying to pay attention. I'm sorry. I knew about the impervious surface. I knew about the length of the video, but I didn't realize that you were proposing just, are you taking charge of that, Judy?
I can, yeah.
Well, I think we should do that.
Okay.
I think Judy should work with the, to get, an awareness of this project and as you say, maybe a history of Reedy Meadow.
Right.
I think that'd be fabulous.
Because
It's
then
important
people can,
to get as much information from Lakefield as possible.
right.
Not coming
right.
from either direction, but
Right, no, exactly.
maybe they have Mass Audubon review. Maybe a bird person
Information.
has reviewed it.
Right.
Right.
I don't know, but
Right.
that's what I would like to see. Not only the design, but whatever review they've had,
Right.
which they must have, or they must have to.
Right.
One of them.
Right. Right.
Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's a moot point. Maybe Audubon said it's great. It's good. for
Exactly.
birds. I don't know.
Exactly. But I think it would be helpful to get ahead of
Absolutely, and
things.
raising public awareness is great.
Right. Right.
So thank you, Judy, for bringing this up. It has been a very interesting discussion. And Peter, thanks for pursuing how much of it is actually in the Reedy Meadow area is in Wakefield. Right.
Okay. What's next?
Judy, what else do you want to rabble rouse about? Oh,
I think that's it. I already went through my whole spiel with environmental sustainability, so.
Judy, the problem with you is I never really know how you feel about things.
Yeah, that's true. I like to keep my opinions to myself.
I also have that problem, by the way, Judy.
Yeah,
Okay,
but we look
we'll wait.
forward to that, though.
Right, absolutely. So is someone so we won't get notice of the Zoom meetings that'll come from Sherry Dalton like on Monday. Maybe we should just to put that on our calendars.
Why won't we?
Yes, yeah, I'm gonna send the agenda request tomorrow morning. So
Okay.
maybe by tomorrow afternoon, she'll probably have the Zoom thing set
Yeah,
up.
she's pretty quick about
She
that.
is, yep.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, so it'll work out fine.
Anything else? Is that it?
That's it. That's all I have.
Lane, do you got anything else?
No, nothing for me.
And Rebecca was back for a little bit this week.
Oh, good.
She's excited. She's
Good.
glad that Quantipower Parkway is back for her.
Oh, good.
She's looking forward to it.
Is
She's
she
right back in the swing of it.
gonna come to these meetings ever?
I don't know. She said she doesn't like Zoom, so I don't know.
I've never seen her.
Oh, that's right.
I came on again. 2000.
Yeah, so she was already gone.
Yep.
Yeah, she'll make an appearance
All right.
and you'll hear from her.
Yeah.
She'll
I'm
email you.
already upset. We can't have a holiday meal.
We're
I
gonna
know.
save that. We're just gonna postpone that. We can't give that up.
Yeah, always fun.
It'll be Christmas in April, right?
Yeah, it could be.
We'll stick
Yeah,
it
I'm
around
not-
Jimmy's
Well,
driveway.
It should be that soon. It should be that soon, Teresa.
No, I'm just thinking about being outside, not about being in a restaurant.
Right. Yeah, I'm
Jimmy's
not doing any
driveway.
virtual celebrations.
No, I agree. All right. Oh, motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second. Second.
Okay, polling individually, Ken,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
Yeah, I also vote to adjourn. So good night, everybody. We'll
Thank you.
Hey, everyone.
see
Good night.
Tuesday or
Good night.
Thursday.